Welcome to the Mayhem News live wrestling broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. T-Mib Lives. And each week, we are here to talk about wrestling headlines and cover everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and always keep up with our show and wrestling news. Hi, this is the Man in Black, a.k.a. the T-Mib Lives, and this is Mayhem News Live wrestling broadcast for January 7, 2014. I just want to say hello from the frozen north. We've had major wind chill problems here, negative 35, negative 45, below zero wind chill factor. And Seth says hello. He's been home for 2 days, not including the weekend, because it's been really, really cold. And thank goodness for our school systems and our governor, who decided it was too cold to obviously send them to school. So we're going to get right down to it. I really want to talk about Raw first, but I'm going to go in the order we normally go to. We're going to go to headlines first. It's been reported that Jeff Jarrett does not have a 90-day no-compete clause with TNA. However, he is still the largest investor in TNA and backer to the Carter family control. And from what most people say, he still owns a lot of their, still owns a lot over there. So, there's a lot of talk. We're going to get into some more about him. On a serious note, if you haven't heard already, Mae Young was hospitalized on December the 31st. She is not doing well health-wise. And I'll give you an update. When I first wrote this note, I found another update. Mike Mooningham, apparently this is somebody close to her and her family, reports that Young is under hospice care due to renal difficulty and is breathing with the help of oxygen. And we just want to send our thoughts and prayers to her family and her, and, kind of wishing her the best. She's been around a long time. Most people say, now she tells everybody she's 90, but most of the people that work with her says she's more around 94. So Mae Young is still keeping some secrets. She doesn't want anybody to know her actual age. So, and she kind of reminds me of my grandmother was that way too. If she could have got rid of her birth certificate and had another one made up, she probably would have. But we hope that it all turns out right. But right now it's not looking good. Stone Cold says that things that factor into him coming back for one more match, the lack of freedom to improvise verbally and wrestling-wise, could prevent him from doing one more match. Not to mention, he says that the time it would take him for him to feel comfortable in shape to get back in the ring safely would probably be another hindrance. There is talk of him being at WrestleMania 30, but more than likely it will not be in a wrestling, and that's not saying he won't do any moves in the ring, but, he could be, he won't be wrestling. I don't think he will, Kurt Angle has basically said that he is not ruling out a WWE return. And with the things that's going on in TNA, I'm not really surprised at him saying that either. There's a lot of stuff going on that they're trying to keep hush-hush. And, you know how that goes in the wrestling business. Even though, I know they try to keep everything secret, but things leak. And we've been saying it for months. This is before the BFG series, when they started this dark and ominous AJ Styles storyline. I told everybody then that it was going to be a CM Punk type storyline. I told everybody, I said he's going to eventually get the title, and he's eventually going to leave with the title. It happened just like the storyline, with slight differences because it's TNA. Slight differences, but it's still the basic storyline. And, of course, he shows up, and now they're going to have this big champion match between Magnus and him to decide who is actual the TNA. It's, we've kind of seen it before. It's basically the same storyline between Cena and CM Punk with the titles, when CM Punk said he was going to leave if he won the title. So, WWE has announced it will use footage of Chris Benoit on the new network. I think this is a good idea. What I don't think is a good idea, I don't think it's a good idea that they're going to put warnings before they show everything. Why don't you just let it go? There's only a handful of people that knew what kind of mental state that Chris Benoit is in before that weekend. That is his wife, his son, and Chris Benoit. Every person that knows Chris Benoit in the business says that what happened that weekend was totally off the scale as far as it being something that Chris Benoit would do in a normal state of mind. So I think it's wise. I think it's a good move for, WWE to allow his picture. You can't deny his body of work. You can't deny it. You can't say that the man didn't wrestle. He's everywhere. He was all over WCW. When he came to WWE, he was all over WWE, ECW. So I think it's a wise decision. And from what everybody's saying, TNA has failed to land the Universal Studios Impact Zone location. And at this point, when they leave to go to the UK tour, they are unsure where the next tapings will be. But they do know at this time it will not be at Universal Studios, which, they will not have to make that decision before they come back on the UK tour. But and there's a lot of people talking that, we're going to move on to Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett reporting been contacting people in the business, and he's been contacting them, pretty much saying that when he could talk about what he had coming up, that everyone would be shocked. So we're going to move into Impact Wrestling. Not really many storylines this week. Most of it was show related. Impact Wrestling, this Coronation show kind of didn't really do good with the ratings. It didn't even get in the top 100 TV shows, which is why we didn't get ratings for them this week. Angle to face Rude at Genesis, and if Angle loses, he must leave TNA and never accept the TNA Hall of Fame position. Madison Rayne defeats Gail Kim in a non-title match, which is probably going to set her up from a title shot down the road. Sabin defeats Aries to recapture the X Division champion. I have a feeling they have something bigger planned for Aries. That's why he's no longer the X Division champion. Because as we know, Austin Aries' ratings. And we had a reluctant reunion on this TNA show, and Magnus had to, let's see here, where's it at? Angle teamed with Gunner, which had a reluctant reunion for beer money, which is Rude and Storm, and basically Rude and Storm wins, and that was kind of a, yeah, they were not very comfortable together, let's put it that way. And of course, as I said earlier, AJ Styles returns during the coronation and basically tells Dixie, hey, I'm back, and if you want your intellectual property, you're going to have to put it up against Magnus, and whoever wins can have this one too. So, which we knew that's what was going to happen anyway. All this feeding they were doing for AJ, possibly going to the WWE and Ring of Honor and all that stuff, it wasn't going to happen. We knew exactly what was going to happen. We knew he was going to go back to TNA. SmackDown, Usos defeated the Shield after a DQ, of course. And I don't know, but somebody needs to quit sneaking Red Bull or whatever they're sneaking into Dean Ambrose's coffee, because here lately Dean Ambrose has reminded me of Hammy from Over the Hedge. He's like, he's just all over the place. And, they're not putting his hair back anymore. They're just kind of letting it fall down, and he always looks like he's been working out for 3 hours before you just tell he's supposed to look that way. And it's kind of funny, but we'll talk about them more on Raw. R-Truth defeats Fandango with a distraction from the Funkadactyls again, and I'm wondering if maybe they need to change the Funkadactyls' name, because since they're not with Tons of Fun anymore. Goldust and Cody retain the tag titles against the Wyatts. Now, everybody else is kind of upset about Bryan joining the Wyatts. Actually, it says a lot about them putting their biggest face, with Daniel Bryan being right now at one point was the biggest face, because you can't really call Cena the biggest face, because Cena has two sides of the coin. There's people that boo him as much as people that holler for him. So, right now, almost everybody was hollering for him, when he came out with the Wyatts. I'm not really sure is the overall look is what they were going for, I would think maybe something a little similar to Rowan and Harper, but a lot of people were saying he looked like another wrestler. I forgot his name, Dumpster Guy or something. I mean, I remember the guy's face, but I can't remember his name. But but I'm kind of interested because it kind of puts how much faith they have in the Wyatts. And Bray Wyatt's character is brilliant. And, of course, it came from the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Him and Dusty Rhodes sat down and came up with this character. And that crap that he does by bending over backwards and walking, that's creepy. I'm afraid I'd be like, whoa. Hey, is he really supposed to be able to do that? But there's a lot of rumors about the Wyatts, and you know how we are about rumors on this show. Unless I'll see something that's but they're talking about, this person against that person at WrestleMania 30, and, anyway. Nikki Bella defeats Oksana. No surprise there. Actual decent match for a Divas match. It actually lasted longer than 25 or 30 seconds, so, Big E defeated Axel again. Apparently we're going to watch that match pretty often. CM Punk teams with the Usos to defeat the Shield. It was actually a decent SmackDown. Nothing compared to what Raw was, but, definitely a decent match. And that's where most of our content is for this show, because Raw was spectacular. And my opening statement says it all. The show was awesome. Seriously. I didn't fast forward hardly much of nothing. It makes me wonder why WWE can't put on a great show every week. I'm not putting them down because, some things hit it off with fans and some things don't. Fans are frugal, I know, but it's this show. Everybody on Twitter was talking that it was awesome. That's rare these days. And, by the look of this show, it's obvious they remember how to make a good show. They know how to make one. So it kind of makes you wonder why we don't get one every day, every time they have a show. Ric Flair was right. When he was champion, they defended every week, every day. Especially weekdays, and then maybe double on weekends. So I just, whoever wrote last night's show, they need to teach everybody else. And then them people need to teach everybody else. And that's the way every show should be. I know there's going to be slumps, but, Ric Flair opened the show, got a big pop. They showed him that when he went in and talked to the 49ers. Bad Ric Flair. Bad. Should have talked to the Packers. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm from Wisconsin a weeks back. Okay. Yeah, I know I don't sound like it, but, I don't want to confuse nobody. I am from the South. We moved to Wisconsin. So anyway, Cena, basically, Randy Orton comes out and is going to do his shtick, and, Ric Flair being Ric Flair said, I don't think so. Kind of tells him, he says, you say you're the man, but I'm wondering when you go home at night and shut that door, are you really a man? And that was kind of a deep poke there, Ric Flair. And of course, Randy Orton thinks he's going to do what he normally does until John Cena comes out and says, no, I don't think so. I was kind of hoping, I know they used to do it at times. I was kind of hoping that they would really, truly go old school, have Cena come out with the thug stuff. But I guess if he's doing a run-in, it's kind of hard, But I'm like a lot of people. I think they all should have come out to their old music. I would have loved to see. Well, we haven't got to that point. I'll wait. Daniel Bryan comes out with the Wyatts. They face Uso and Mysterio. Mysterio, actually, you could read his lips. He told Daniel Bryan, this ain't you. Don't do this. This ain't you. So, it was a great match. There was some confusion, or maybe a little, I guess you could say biggest cock in the hen house thing going on between Harper and Daniel Bryan. And they even talk about it backstage, and then that's when Bray Wyatt says that that's not going to be necessary for you to team with one of them. You're going to team with me. So, yeah. Big E defeats Axel again with no problems, with Ryback sitting. And Ryback, if anybody had never told you, I agree with Damian Nelson. A comedian you are not. No. As I believe that most people of my complexion should not dance on TV or in front of a camera, Ryback does not need to tell jokes. At least he can cut a promo. We'll get to that later. Del Rio defeats Sin Cara in a match that pretty much flew through there so fast it was like, and then of course he had to say that everybody's talking about Batista, he's the one going to be able to win, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the Brotherhood defeats the Real Americans to retain the title. Had a really funny segment between Booker T and DDP. Booker T lifting his knee up. Oh, I think I hurt my back. That was really funny. Khali defeats Sandow. Sandow gets in the guest referee Sergeant Slaughter's face and gets a Cobra Clutch for his troubles. And I was actually had a big smile on my face when that happened. I'm sorry. Let's see. Of course, we get to see Brock Lesnar come out. Yay! Thank God Heyman was with him and did most of the talking. That's the only good thing about it, that Heyman was out there talking. We didn't have to suffer through a attempt at a promo by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, the only way Brock Lesnar could do a good promo is to be like Wile E. Coyote and hold up signs. Flip it over. Make some grunting noises and point. Flip it over. Flip the sign over and say the last thing and walk out. I'm sorry. If you were to put Brock Lesnar in a wet paper bag, you couldn't cut a promo out of it good enough to get out. He would suffocate. Seriously. I don't know. I'm sorry. The good thing for the fans is you get to hear Paul Heyman, which Paul Heyman could cut a promo about the price of milk, and it would kick ass. So, the fact is that we still have to put up with Brock Lesnar walking around looking like he's got to take a big poop and he's trying to hold it in. They had some pictures that was some people had took off of during Raw, and I just they said caption this. I was going to try not to caption it, but I'm sorry. I had to caption one. He comes out, and Mark Henry comes out again. Of course, now there's a lot of questions. Was Brock Lesnar's injury to Mark Henry actually real, or was it actually covering up something else? We do know that his ribs were bruised from last week's show, so I don't know if his arms actually broke or what. Mark Henry just hadn't had a run of luck here lately, and I kind of feel bad about it because I kind of like the head shaven, and to me it makes him look meaner. So of course Brock Lesnar thinks everything is over, and cue the Big Show's music, and then you could hear Brock Lesnar's sphincter snap closed from 1,000 yards. And the Big Show was not smiling, people. He was not smiling. He kept his eyes on Brock Lesnar the whole walk down. Brock Lesnar wasn't doing nothing but backing up. And I looked at my wife and said, shit just got real. And then, of course, they tried Paul Heyman jumping up on the ring and tried to get Big Show off. And, of course, it didn't work. And, hey, Brock, how was that trip? Or, well, should I say that throw that you got across the ring was really funny. I actually posted a picture of a shirt I created for Brock Lesnar. And it says, eat, sleep. I'll have to post it. It's just funny as hell. It really is. And then it's, shit my pants when Big Show comes out. Sit there and let Big Show make me his bitch, and then pretty much run out of the ring with my tail between my legs and never sleep good again. It was actually brilliant, but still not as good as the one where they showed his close up of his face, and somebody said to caption it, and I said. I put underneath, did I just fart or did I shit my pants? I'm pretty sure he did when Big Show come out. Xana and Alicia Fox defeated the Bellas, and they had two cool get-together again, which if you live in Wisconsin and you were at Blizzard Brawl, you actually got to see them together several times. Oh, thing. Rikishi looked good. I'll be honest, I don't know how he wrestles in them leather pants. I'd be like, man, y'all need to get me some tub of ice because I'm about to burn up. But he did. They all look good. They really did. We want to send our appreciation that King Jerry Lawler is fine. He just had a stomach virus. He was at Raw last night, but he was back in the back talking with, the other legends and stuff like that. So at least it was not heart related. Okay, this is the best part of the whole show. Mean Gene Okerlund comes out. One of the coolest intros that he done for the New Age Outlaws, which, of course, the New Age Outlaws, they're going to roll with it. They come down, do their stick, and do an equally cool intro for CM Punk. Great match between Punk and Reigns. Many near falls and a lot of out-of-the-ring antics between the New Age Outlaws and the other members of the Shield. Basically, Reigns gets the win with a huge spear. And, they're fixing to hit the big power slam like they always do on CM Punk. And when the music started playing, you could see some of the older members in the crowd go, who is that? That sounds familiar. And I was even caught off guard because it's been so long. And then I looked at my wife when they showed who walked out. I said, Jake the Snake Roberts. He came out and literally looked better than he has in years. It was, 20 years. He was on Raw not too long ago. I say about, 4 years ago? And you can compare the pictures. The pictures say it all. To see him nearly tearing up, a smile from ear to ear, and to see that little gleam in his eye that I used to see in everything he was in before, Mid-South and all the other wrestling things that he did. It gave this wrestling fan a real warm feeling near his heart, and to know where he's been and where he's come back from. And this rarely happens these days. And so for once in a long while, I will go the way of David Hero in saying, thank you, WWE. Thank you, because it's been a long time coming for us to have a show that we can be proud of. And that was a good show. To see Jake Roberts walk out after what he's been through and the stuff that he's put himself through, and then to watch the WWE.com interview with him afterwards, he was literally, he's just bouncing. He says, I don't have ants in my pants. I'm just excited. And, you could see him hold back tears. And he just said, I can't stop smiling. And neither could I. It was been one of the best Raws that we've had in half of 2013, including, this year already. So if this is going to be the way the Raws are going to be for 2014, and we can only hope that's the way they're going to be. I just hope that that's the way they're going to be. That's pretty much the show. I always want to thank my sponsors, ZachPackPromotions.com, and you can follow them on Twitter at ZPackPromotions.com, or you can find them on Facebook as ZachPack Promotions on Facebook. I also want to thank Fight Disability Slurs. That is my wife and I's little thing. We're trying to stop people from using slurs, period. But the disability slurs are what's really close to our hearts. And I also want to thank Throttle. The music that you heard in the intro to this show is their song New Blood. They gave it to us as our theme music. I really, really appreciate them. They got a new album called Razor Wire Finish Line. It is out now. You can find it on iTunes and Amazon. And you can just search Throttle. That's THORDL. It's pretty much spelled like the car, Throttle. Great music. Great heavy stuff. Awesome. I also want to give a shout out to Blast 52, which is an Irish band, and they do some good music. You can find them. There'll be a graphic at the end of this as their Amazon and iTunes. But you can find them on YouTube. You can actually sample some of their music before you buy. Great music. You can follow them on Twitter at @Blast52, which is Joey's Twitter, and you can follow Stephanie at @Blast52Drummer. So, and I also want to thank, just everybody that's listened to the show. I want to thank all the people that subscribe and kind of help me spread the word. And I want to thank some of our people that we talk to a lot. Chance Prophet, who told me about a little boy named Gabe Layall, and he's fighting childhood cancer. If you'll just kind of send your thoughts and everything, I'd appreciate it. I'm not going to post any webpage because I'm tired, Mama. My son is laying down and it is barely 5 o'clock. He is tired. It's been a long 2 days. He's been playing, Mama. But I appreciate it. That has been the show for today. As we're always here Tuesday, and then I do special reports if something comes up, and we will keep you posted on Mae Young if we hear anything, and just keep your thoughts with her and her family and her colleagues. So this has been the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team of Lives, and we are out.